Let's admit it, we've all lied, and most of the time our untruthfulness is inconsequential. Sure, that dress looks good on you, honey. We're on our way, we'll be there in 15. I don't have any homework, and that check is definitely in the mail. These lies are harmless. Nobody really gets hurt if you don't like Michael Bolton.
I don't know. I guess I sort of like them all.
Then there are lies that are so huge, entire livelihoods are ruined by them. Today, we're going to examine the gargantuan lies and untruths that the AAF told us, and that's coming up right after this. Want to know something you can't hide from? The fact that women prefer a man that grooms. And I ain't talking about just slapping some shave butter on your face and pulling off a few whiskers from your cookie duster. I'm talking about taking care of your stuff down there. That's where Manscaped.com comes in. Manscaped has designed specific products for men who want to deliver their best performance. And let me break down the Lawnmower 2.0, a clipper designed by aerospace engineers. They say it's made not to cut you, and I've been using this for 6 months, and that is 100% true. Look at me, I'm literally trying to cut myself, and I can't do it. The secret is the blades are actually made of ceramic and are going at 6,000 RPMs. They are also replaceable for that sad day when they get dull. Manscaped.com also offers other amazing products like Crop Cleanser and their ball wipes, which how did it take this long for mankind to invent these? So after this video, head on over to Manscaped.com and enter in my code POINT20 at checkout and get 20% off your first order. They make great gifts as well. Again, that's code POINT20 for 20% off. And if you act now, we'll throw in the Shed travel bag for free. Manscaped.com, #1 in men's personal grooming. The AAF started out so well. The sense that the league was partnered with the NFL and not competing with it, good ratings, a strong social media presence, and unlike the failed World League, XFL, or USFL, it looked like they would stick around. This perception was perpetuated by comments made by league co-founder Charlie Ebersol, who painted a fantastic picture that before a snap on the field would ever happen, the AAF would be around for many seasons to come. Here is the exact statement he made to Variety.com in early February. "We are confident we have the right team and long-term financial resources in place to ensure fans will experience high-quality professional football for many seasons to come." Let's examine this statement. Ebersol uses the phrases long-term and many seasons. A few weeks later, he dramatically changed his tune, and on February 19th, the Philadelphia Inquirer got this juicy quote from him. "Look, you can't raise money to launch a football league. Anyone who tells you they can is lying, unless you've got a quixotic billionaire who just wanted to spend all of his money." This statement was of course made right after Tom Dundon infused the league with the supposed amount of $250 million in cash, clearly illustrating the AAF was not initially funded for years to come, and apparently not beyond a couple of weeks. Of course, its untimely folding further reinforced that. It's interesting that Ebersol would use Don Quixote as an example. It sounds like he was tilting at windmills from the onset. Now this one isn't a lie the AAF told, it was one the media and social media perpetuated after a situation developed involving the sports world's lightning rod, Colin Kaepernick. In February, Bill Polian told The Athletic that Charlie Ebersol had reached out to the former NFL QB to see if he was interested in joining the AAF. This statement prompted reputable news sources, initially the AP, to come out with a story that Kaepernick had allegedly asked for $20 million to play in the league, which Benjamin Albright immediately shot down in a February 15th tweet. Albright went on to pwn multiple other Twitterers with the truth, stating no money had been discussed with either Cap or Tim Tebow, who was also contacted about playing. Tebow declined to come back to football in order to take online hitting tips from Jose Canseco. Though it is not known who the source is that contacted the AP with the initial mistruth, this is another lie involving the AAF that turned out to be patently untrue. It could have been a favor to the anti-cap crowd, who knows? Good old anonymous sources. See, I get all my information from my mom and she tells me I'm handsome, so it must be true. On February 19th, Darren Rovell sent this tweet which said that the AAF had missed payroll due to an administrative glitch. The part about the players having delayed payments? True. Was it due to a glitch in the matrix? That's up for debate. The players did receive their week 1 game checks, but the timing was amazingly serendipitous with Tom Dundon's capital infusion that we mentioned earlier. As rumors circled, Charlie Ebersol denied that the AAF was short on cash, and in a statement to the AP, Ebersol said Tuesday that reports that the alliance was short on cash and needed a bailout from Dundon in order to make the payroll were untrue. He said the league had a technical glitch in its payroll system that has been fixed. Tom's funds were transferred to Alliance accounts last week, and players have never been in jeopardy of not receiving their earned paychecks, Ebersol said. It was a clerical error and has been resolved. The two are unrelated. He went on. This has been an extraordinary undertaking for us. It's a giant challenge and opportunity, and as a startup, you are constantly looking for some peace of mind. When we got out of the first week of games, we saw there was so much interest from investors, and if we had one person who could take care of us for a very long time, that would be great. These statements are again contrary to his earlier remarks about being funded for years to come, and reinforces that he was indeed not being truthful about the league's finances. As far as missing payroll being an acknowledged clerical error, payroll companies have been issuing checks for a long time. They don't mess up if the money is in the bank. The cash infusion and missing payroll being unrelated are also absurd. They were absolutely related. I'm going to speculate that the deflection of blame to the Matrix was merely a stall tactic.
Stalling? I'm not stalling anything.
Yes, you are.
Wow, the third week in February was a brutal time for the AAF, and this story just piled on to the league's agonizing woes. On February 18th, FanDuel alleged that the AAF may have been padding their attendance figures. A day before, the announced attendance for the San Diego Fleet's Week 2 home opener was 20,019. However, Fernando Ramirez's iPhone seemed to paint a much different picture. Now, you could say that most of these 20K fans were all pissing in the stadium's troughs, or decided that going to the Hard Rock Hotel for a pool party with thotties was much more fun than staying at the game, but this picture reinforced the paltry actual attendance. It would indeed serve the AAF well to pad their stats, as in any investor situation, you want the numbers to look good. Of course, Tom Dundon wrote his fat check the day after the game. Bryce Miller summed up the situation with a perfect tweet. Let's fast forward to March. The AAF has already hit the iceberg and is starting to list. Tom Dundon is likely standing knee deep in water and says he needs the NFL players to keep the league afloat. Here is an excerpt from an article in USA Today. The first-year Alliance of American Football's inability to secure cooperation from the NFL Players Association to use young players from NFL rosters has put the AAF in danger of folding. Tom Dundon, the league's majority owner, told USA Today Sports on Wednesday, "If the players union is not going to give us young players, we can't be a developmental league," said Dundon. "We are looking at our options, one of which is discontinuing the league." Just where the did this notion of needing NFL players come from? The AAF was founded as a spring league that was meant to stand on its own, the eventual goal of funneling players to the NFL, not the other way around. It's also a completely idiotic idea that the powerful NFL Players Union would bend to a slick investor who made his money on subprime mortgages, as the article reinforces. A Players Union official did express serious concerns about the risks of lending active NFL players to the AAF. The person said the Players Union is founded on the belief that using active NFL players and practice squad members for the AAF would violate the terms of the CBA and the restrictions that prevent teams from holding mandatory workouts and practices throughout the offseason. The limitations set in place are designed to ensure the safety and adequate rest and recovery time for football players. But there's a concern that teams would abuse their power and perhaps force young players into AAF action as a condition for consideration for NFL roster spots in the fall. So basic research into the NFLPA's operating structure reveals that them cooperating with an orbital league is ludicrous from the get-go. It sounds more like Dundon was circling deck chairs and asking the band to play Celine Dion while he snuck onto a lifeboat. Add the fact that several AAF players have already been signed to NFL squads shows you some of the league's talent was absolutely worthy of the next level. Why would they need taxi squad players? Someone get me whatever Dundon is smoking. Sounds like the dankest of the dank.
Smoke weed every day.
And for the last lie, we were told. This was a lie that was not spread by the AAF, but rather an interesting case in rumor and speculation. One of Charlie Ebersol's angles in founding the league was that paramount to football, it was a data company, and his earlier statements to the Inquirer reflects this. We raise money as a technology business. The actual business is data, data compression, and data delivery manifestation, or artificial intelligence, or machine learning, whatever the hell that means. What Ebersol is referring to is an app that was developed alongside the league's fancy uniforms, one designed to have seamless wagering and fantasy play for end users. When Dundon invested a lot of power in the league's decision making was ceded to him, and hey, if he's the one writing the checks, he gets to call the shots, right? One thing that was not handed over to him was the intellectual property rights to the app, as was clarified in an April 3rd article by CBSSports.com. The piece goes on to say that if he were to try to use the app for himself in the future, serious litigation would follow. So the speculation that Dundon spent upwards of $70 million for an app is simply a rumor. In the end, what we got was Tom pulling the plug because he was tired of losing money, or he didn't see a future in the league, or he was sick of all the lies and mixed up a big old batch of Kool-Aid. Wow, a Jim Jones reference, a new low for the channel. Ironically, Charlie Ebersol made a documentary on the first XFL season and their failures, seemingly as a way that we could learn from history. And if history has taught us anything, there's pretty much only room for one professional football league on this tiny flat globe, and that league is the cash machine called the N to the mother-fathering F to the L. I have to give them credit for trying, though as you can see in my buddy Flemlo's video on the fallout of the AAF, these lies had even more direct consequences. And no honey, those jeans don't make you look fat at all. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to check out our sponsor Manscaped and use my code POINT20 and get 20% off your first order. Or check out my other vids on the AAF, like which of their former players will make it to the NFL. I'm 5 Points Vids and you made it to the end of this video.